Today on PFDAuto, we're going to be working inside the car. I'm sure you can hear the wind. It's getting a little crazy out here. So we're going to try to fill in that hole, and we're going to mess with some of this pedal placement. See how it goes. So we're going to improvise today and try to be inside the car as much as possible. It's really windy. But I've got some things to do. I've got that hole over there still. I've got all this stuff that I need to figure out. We've got a master cylinder from a BMW that I'm going to try to put onto this clutch from a 190E. Not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. I've got this cable here, which is supposed to connect that cylinder to the cylinder on the transmission. We need to fill in the hole that we cut so the cylinder on the transmission will fit. I think we're going to try to hook up this cable, see what kind of clearance we need, and we'll cut up that piece of steel over there and fill in the hole. This is the hole I cut for this, which doesn't look like it's quite big enough. Like I'm going to need a little bit more space here. Might see if I can push this out some. Not 100% sure. Might just cut it out a little bit more. But this is its final resting place, so we've got to hook up cables here and here. This I think we can get away with. This, maybe if we do a 90, we can get away with that. But it just needs to have, it looks like, some sort of hose slip over this. We might even be able to just thread it in further. Probably will give that a shot. But this is the cable we're going to worry about today. I think it's got enough room. Then we're going to cut this out, try to make a plate that covers up this hole. This hole here, don't remember exactly what that was for, but we've got a new drive-by-wire pedal here. This came out of an E36, but matches up perfectly with the throttle body that I have. Now, the old pedal hooked on to this little clip here worked out pretty well. This one needs to sit up against the car, get bolted down. It's got a couple of spikes there, so we'll need to cut this out, or at least flatten it off somehow. Might have to peel this back and just chisel that guy off. Not 100% sure what we're going to do with that, but this needs to go in its place. We also have the clutch and brake pedal to deal with, so we might try to get that in. It bolts up there. And that way we can figure out where this pedal needs to be and how far into the cabin we can come with our new plate. Interesting development here. Got my 190E clutch and brake pedal set up. And as you can see, there's a mount there. There's a hole for that mount right there. I always kind of wondered what that was for. But when you try to connect this, you can get that bottom bolt in. This hits in a way to where the top bolt over there does not go in. The plate doesn't sit up flat. So either I'm missing something, or the manual car and the automatic car are slightly different. But this will get us kind of where we need to be with pedal placement. We can figure out from here, through all this wiring, looks like a freaking jungle in here, where we need to set the gas pedal. I'm aiming for kind of the same place where the gas pedal was before. It gives me a lot of room between the gas pedal and the brake and the clutch, all that good stuff, and gives me quite a bit of room to bring that in. Looking at all this, I don't think I need to worry too much about how far I come in on this side. I think I'll have enough room. I'm looking at this hole down here. my little doorway, trying to feed this line into this device here, and it's hitting on this piece of metal here. I cannot get it past there, so we need more room there for sure. Need to cut that further back. I think we could cut all the way to this hole, cut around back up to here, and then maybe make a little loop here, whatever cable this is, and then bring the plate out in this way. I think that might work. We might even be able to just kind of bend this in a little bit, give us a little bit more shape. But I think we're going to have to start with cutting more steel. Here's some more progress on the hole. This side, trying to cut it with the tin snips. Just kind of mushed it all down. Didn't really do much. This side over here, this bend is making it to where I can't really flex this in. This hole is pretty far open now, and I think the tube still kind of hits right here. So what I might have to do is actually just cut this like this, bring it up back, up around, and cut into here. And then take my piece of steel, kind of give it a shape from here to there, and just try to connect it all the way across. This sure would be a lot easier if I knew what I was doing. Now, I could probably just do that and connect the steel up from here to there and fill in my hole and call it a day. But the inside of this would look like absolute trash. Now, you can't see it because the transmission's in the way, but I'd know and it would bother me. I still might end up doing that where I just put a piece of steel over for the time being and then come back and cut out what's left. But if I do that, I'll have to be real careful not to cut my patch. It's probably best that I just make the incisions. Try not to take out too much of this structure though, because this is a lot thicker steel than what I'm working with. I could try to shape it to this shape. I don't know. I think I might at least have to get a clean line here. And at least clean this up. This looks like... Oh, don't even want to talk about what that looks like. So I'm going to think on this for a minute. I'll try to figure it out, and then I'll let you know what I decided. This might be getting out of hand. I cleaned up some edges, made a little bit more appropriate cut. 47 blades later on the Dremel here. And this still rubs, which I'm not too bent out of shape about. It's got this piece here, which I'm guessing is for when it rubs on stuff. So I'll just slide that up. Not a big deal. But I think I'm ready to try and make a plate that fits over this. I'm probably going to have to cut back to here, I'm guessing, to do anything that's worth a damn and not just leave this huge chunk of metal sitting here. We'll probably just cut straight across. But I think I'm going to make my little template to fit over this first, see what it looks like. Then I'll continue cutting, because not only is it making a terrible mess in here, but I'm just chopping away at pieces of this car. So template up, and then we'll figure it out from there. I have been shaping this panel for a while. That looks like a way bigger dent on camera. But I like what I've done here so far, I think. I've got a good convex on the inside, concave on the outside. So all of this stuff has room to breathe in here now. It's lining up pretty good around all my edges. And I'm going to seam sealer this piece in. I was thinking about some rivets and stuff, but I don't have a rivet gun. Maybe we'll have to do that in the future. But now that I've got this down to the shape where I think it's going to sit, I'm going to outline it, and then I'm going to cut the inside of this a little bit more, because I don't want there to be a gap between here and my panel and have it fill with water and rust and stuff. I might get down there and look underneath. Maybe this rolls up tight. I'm not quite sure yet, but I definitely want to make sure that nothing gets in between that and the panel. I got underneath the car, and all this lines up pretty nicely. I'm not too afraid of that. I might come straight across here and try to get this piece out, because I think this is the biggest gap. After that, I think I can just kind of bend this back up to the panel, put some panel bond on it, and call it a day. This piece, though, I'm a little worried about. So like I said, I think I'm just going to come across like this. We'll get this piece out, and that way we can just kind of beat this panel back to meet this panel and seam seal it on the outside, and then it should be weather tight. I think that'll work. You know, I think I'm done cutting. This is a lot more structural than the much thinner piece that I'm putting in. So I'm going to glue my panel down from the inside. Then I'm going to body work this back up to the panel. If I have to, I'll fill this gap with seam sealer. I don't care. And I'll seam seal the outside of it and do a little bit of body work or whatever. I mean, nobody's ever going to see this. I don't really care. I just want it to seal. I don't want to take out more of the structure. I'm done cutting. I'm going to put my panel up here. I'm going to bond it to here, and we're going to call it good. Like I said, once I get the engine trans out the last time, I'll try to beat this back to match the curve of my panel, but at least this will get this giant hole out of the way. I was reading the instructions for this here JB Weld automotive adhesive and filler, and it says to prepare by cleaning. So I grabbed an old wire wheel and wire wheeled all the paint and junk off of there. Hit it with a gator wipe. I think that should be plenty clean enough. Now I'm going to spread this goop all over the back of that panel and all over there. Then I think I'm going to just grab an old brake rotor and put it up against there. Hope that it stays. So it's a little hard to see on camera, but here's my big old hole. Here's my panel, mostly clean. I'm actually smart enough to get some rubber gloves out this time. After dealing with that seam sealer, I realized I do not want this stuff all over my hands. So it says just to peel this on out of here, attach our fancy mixing nozzle, it's already trying to run out of there. Okay, I think that's lined up. Then I'm going to apply some. Well, first I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Alright, well, since that was mostly burned, cleaned it up anyways. Should be good to go. Sand it all down. Hit it with some gator wipe again, little prep wipe. I think it's nice and clean now. So I'm going to spread all around this edge. Then I'm going to go ahead and spread all around the edge of the hole. Then we'll stuff this guy up there. And like I said, grab a brake rotor or something heavy and press it against it. Maybe, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But right now, it's goop time. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow my phone into the goop. There is already a hole in the end of this. But I think it's a little short. But I also don't have a razor blade out here. So we'll see how it goes. That sure doesn't go very far. I'm already out of this stuff. We're just going to goop it up as good as we can. Especially in the areas where I think might need the most help. Said I was going to spread it on both sides, but like I said, we're out of this stuff already. Not cheap. Well, that's literally all she wrote. Ain't no more of that left. Of course, I didn't film me putting this up here. But we're good up. Pressed in. I think we're good. I am going to have to figure out how to keep this here, though. Yeah, I probably should have grabbed that rotor. All right, now that that's probably moved and drying, just got to make sure I don't hit anything. And that worked better than I thought. I think we're going to run one more, and we'll call it good. All right, well, we've got tech screw, big old bulge for all of our stuff. I think my foot will still fit there. I sure hope so. But I think that is going to do it for that hole, except for coming around the other side, mashing all that metal up once that sets up. I'm not totally mad at it. Could it have been better? Yeah, somebody else could have did it. But for what I was going for, I think it works just fine. We'll pull these screws when we're done, or cut them off on the other side. I haven't decided. Seam seal up a little bit better around the edges, and then we will do the other side. Well, it's windy as all get out. That's why I'm hiding in the car. This is where we're going to finish up this episode. You got to see me patch 2 holes. I'm pretty proud of it. Does it look perfect? No. Is it going to do the job? Absolutely. We got a little bit more finish work to do on the outside. Definitely got to get some more seam sealer. With that said, we're going to finish this episode up right here where we started it, in the car. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you found this at least entertaining, give me a thumbs up. It definitely helps with the algorithm. That said, we'll see you next time on PFDAuto.